If no be you, then tell me who. Them go separate, them go separate. Nobody messing with my boo.
There's a new cuisine in town. A glass of wine, a cup of coffee, and if you're like me, a glass of smoothie. With Signals served on Lagos Talks 91.3 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Your mind will dream again.
Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, so it's Signals on 91.3 Lagos Talks, and this morning, if you're just tuning in, it's Signals, and you know how we do it. It's for results-oriented individuals who wants to grow, wants to be encouraged to grow, and we'll be looking at philanthropy. Yeah, I like to say that I did that question myself. The topic was the heart of a woman. I have somebody with me who's till 11:30 p.m. yesterday. Everybody kept saying they're with me. That's nice. Okay, and she's no other than Princess Modupe Ozolua. Welcome to Signals.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, and where do I start from? I'll start from me having to go through magazines when I was a teenager into adulthood and checking you out. Yeah. So this is it, and you're here. Let me do something. I need to do this. Let me do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. Ah. Okay, so at age 16, what was your thought pattern like?
Yeah, everything was good, happy. Everyone that smiles at me or smiled at me loved me. Everybody's good and happy, and the world is a fabulous place.
Then
No.
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 Nobody's smiling.
You don't believe smiles?
I love smiling. I'm smiling. I love to smile. It just calms me down.
It's good. I like it too.
Okay, so it's been philanthropy, and why did you decide that you were going into that? Why did you decide that, okay, the world is smiling at age 16, I want them to smile again?
Well, I certainly didn't think that at age 16, and I certainly did not make a conscious decision to become a philanthropist.
Okay.
I didn't. My parents sent me out of Nigeria when I was 17 to America, so I was living there, going to school. I was married. I had my son. I owned my first business at 21 in Los Angeles, and years later, I decided I wanted to introduce cosmetic surgery to West Africa, because it wasn't just Nigeria, it was West Africa, because I was having clients come from West Africa and different parts of the world actually. And it was just a business investment. And right from then I always made it very plain in the press, I wasn't a beautician, I didn't go to beauty school, I'm not a doctor, I don't have a medical background, but cosmetic surgery is a very specialized aspect of medicine. And to me, it was just a business investment. So I started it, and I was still living in America at that point. So I was commuting back and forth. 2 years into, well, about 6-7 months into when I started Body Enhancement Limited in Nigeria, I moved back home because I lost my mom. Okay. And a couple of years later, a couple came into my office, this Muslim man and his wife. And the wife had burns, lacerations from a fire accident. And of course I offered cosmetic and reconstructive surgery for private clients. They paid for it. The lady, of course, reconstructive is a lot more expensive than cosmetic, and they couldn't afford the bill I gave them. And the man looked at me and he said, "Madam, why don't you help people like us? When you speak, people would listen." And I mean, I just sat there looking at him. And when they left my office, I picked up the phone. I called my head plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills, and I said, "You know what, Alex? I'm starting a non-profit. We're going to start helping people that are deformed that need help." He was like, "Okay." I was like, "Yeah, good, because you come and make money here. We're going to do this." And that's how it started. And for me, it comes naturally. I can't see you falling and I'm sitting watching to see how hard you hit the fall, or you hit the ground rather. I will reach forward and try and catch you. That's me. It's always been me. So when then it was BS Foundation, but it's now Empower 54. When it started 15 years ago, It was just I was led into it, and I knew it was the right thing to do. So that's how it happened.
It's been magical so far.
Yes.
Okay, so, having all of this and going into the interland, into the IDP camps, into all of those places, going into the north, what was that like? Having to risk your life, the hazards, and people were like, "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" What was that like for you?
I never doubt before I take a step. Before I embark on a project, I think carefully about it. I pray about it. If there are any doubts I have, I try and resolve. I cross my T's and dot my I's. If I have any ounce of hesitation, I don't move. Until when I'm clear, I know that yes, this is good. Then I move on. And some people, right from when I was little, actually, I was always told I was too bold and too fearless. And actually, used to get me into trouble as a kid, for sure. Because when myself and my nieces would do something wrong, and everybody would be lying, I'll be like, yes, I did it. So I used to get whooped a lot for that. But that has helped me survive, that fearlessness. And it's required for the path that God has put me to do. I can't be scared to go into places others won't go. I can't be scared to lead people, men and women, because they're relying on me. Going into the Northeast, we decided to embark on IDP projects in 2014. And it was a friend of mine, actually. I was in Bielsa. He called me and he pleaded that we should come to his state, Adamawa State, to assist, because the IDP, 2014 was still very much, many areas you couldn't even access at that point. And up until then, I had personally, because it's an organization, it's bigger than me. It's much bigger than me. And even though I founded it, but it's much bigger than me. And we were just watching to see what was being done. Because with limited funds that we have, we just don't jump from one project to the other. You have to make sure, is this something we're actually going to impact people's lives, or this is just one of those, is the in thing, is the in project to be part of. So we decided to go. And I wasn't scared. I wasn't bothered by that at all. Because all I knew was that there are people there that needed help, and we had to go and see if we could help. And even we went beyond that, beyond IDP camps. We even went into communities that were still in lockdown by the military. You couldn't access. Very fortunate that I was given access to all the places I wanted to go to. And I saw places. I saw things that I was like, oh my God. Armored tanks. No, seriously.
Real strong ones. Not the ones you see in movies.
No, the ones you see in movies crushing cars, right? With the Boko Haram logo, all that on it. Not one, not two. I'm talking about so many of them. They have knocked down buildings. Girl. And I'm seeing everything leveled down in communities. Ghost towns. Bullet shells. And I just sat there and I was like, we were drinking champagne in Abuja and partying in Lagos, not knowing that Nigeria was on fire. What you see that they depict of Syria, that was what was happening in the Northeast. And ever since I saw that, I've had so much respect for the military, so much respect for even the government. Even, people might say, okay, they could have done better or could not have done better, but that's personal, perception. But to have been able to clamp it down, Oma would have not jumped into Atlantic Ocean. No, I'm serious. If you've seen what I saw, and good thing is we documented it, so I have videos and pictures, because all that is gone now. They've put money, the government has put money to rebuild those places so people can be safe. But every time we would drive past, because you had all these military checkpoints, every time we would drive past, I would look at the soldiers and my heart would break. I would say, my God, will this person be alive the next time I come back?
And you had respect for human life.
Oh, but of course you have to. So there was no room for fear, just respect of the efforts being made for us to be safe in Nigeria.
Okay, so shout out to all our military.
Oh, absolutely.
As in real shout out to all our military personnel.
Yes.
Now, looking at that and having seen all of that, we have women and children, we have men, we have families who have been torn apart by selfishness of human to people. Have we been able to, now, and I say have we in saying that, okay, let me let me just go into that world of yours and say, okay, have we been able to say, okay, let's bring these people back to normalcy?
I don't know if they can ever be back to normalcy. I don't. Because it's one thing, people have this misconception that IDPs are poor, illiterates, and even if one is poor and illiterate, the person should still have dignity and respect.
True.
They assume all IDPs had little huts in some villages. Even if it's a little hut, it's their castle, it's their palace.
Yes, it is.
Even if it's a small farm, at least it fed their families. Now, the fact of the matter is, not all IDPs are illiterate and we're poor. In those camps, you have doctors, you have pharmacists, you have businessmen, businesswomen that had huge farms. Today, they're sitting, sleeping on mats in a camp. That if you and I don't donate food, they have nothing to eat. Or if the government doesn't cook for them, mass cooking, they have nothing to eat. If we don't donate clothes, they have no clothes. If organizations don't come and give them buckets and mattresses, they have nothing. Do you understand? Can you imagine how traumatic that is? Some of them till now, for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, don't know if their family members are dead or alive. They don't know where their children are, where their husbands are. I don't know what people's definition of normalcy is. Just small issues, we are traumatized forever and ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You lied to me when I was 4 years old. I will never get over it.
I won't forgive you.
I
for
will
what
never
you-
forgive you. Yeah, everybody named that has this name. I hate the person. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that?
That's even small to what people are actually going
It's
through.
nothing compared. So when you see this, what do? It's confusing. How do you help? The most you can do is, okay, try and help them rebuild their homes that they're safe. But when you say rebuild their homes, what does that mean? That the financial responsibilities on the state government to rebuild everybody's house? That's a question. Or just to make sure that military makes sure that Boko Haram is not attacking those places again. Okay, fine. The community is safe to return to. Where are you going to live? Your home is
The
destroyed.
schools, the
Schools,
hospitals,
everything
the
leveled up.
food, the feeding.
So where do you start? How do you return to, in quote, normalcy? Seeing boys as young as 8, 9 years old inducted the Boko Haram, like they can't even carry the guns that they're carrying. They're struggling. They're coming to your place and they're shooting people's fathers. They shot people's fathers in front of them. All the men killed on sight so they cannot protect the women. And you say normalcy? I don't know what that is. And I don't think they do either.
So, now, having seen all of this, is it how do I put it? When would the partnership between governments and NGOs, because I know that a lot of NGOs have been going there to give them food, but when would that partnership be, so that we can restore them to at least the norm, even if it's not up to what they used to know? When would that partnership come to place? Because yes, you will give, other people will give, but then where would the giving stop to return them to, okay, so this is it, this is how you will live, this is the houses that we can provide? Is it that the government of those states don't have enough money to build them back? Because I remember that I did a project on IDPs and it was not funny. It wasn't funny, and you see people and then you look at yourself and like, okay, even in the times that I don't even have food to eat, I'm still better off. How much more them having to wait from hand to mouth? So when is it that the government will step in to say, okay, we want to partner with Empower 54, we want to partner with other people that, okay, we can rehabilitate people.
But they've been doing that.
But we still have more people in the IDP camps.
Yes, and they will be there for a long time.
Wow.
You asked the question about funds to rebuild.
Yeah.
Now, imagine this. You know, all states have their budget. So let's picture this.
Yeah.
Let's say you're married,
Mhm.
you have your husband, you have your kids, maybe 2 kids.
Mm.
So you're in your house. Yes, so your house is the state. Oui?
Yeah.
You have your salary, your fixed salary. That's the monthly allowance that the state gets, right? And you know how you've planned your budget every month, how you're feeding yourself, your family. Then all of a sudden, like 1,000 family members will now run from your village into your house and become your responsibility. You have to feed them. You have to clothe them. You have to. With what money are you going to do? What money is where you're going to get the food outside of what you already have? So think about that when you wear the shoes of the state governments. Where are they getting extra funds to accommodate this? The funds they have for infrastructure, salaries, blah blah blah, not for millions.
So there's no contingency fund like that.
Was Nigeria ever ready for this?
Oh no. We
Okay
weren't.
then. So we're trying to deal with waking up and say, okay, you know what, we knew this was happening. Okay, we didn't think it was going to get here. What do we do? They have done well. As much as we like to criticize, let truth be said, they have done well. You see this going on, so you say, okay, fine, and you have to realize that not all organizations have their different policies and what they apply their monies to. So even if they bring, for example, for brings, let's say, $10 million. 10 million, you're happy, you're like, hey, yes,
yeah, that's money.
that's good money.
Good
You
money.
bring $10 million and I say, hey, this is to help IDPs. You are thinking, this is great. Okay, I will use this to build houses. I will use this. And I tell you, no. The condition to this is that you cannot build infrastructure because that's your responsibility as the government. But what you can do is you can fix roads. You can do water. You can do borehole. You can do sanitary towels and mattresses.
But there's already limitations to the money.
Okay. Exactly. All monies come with limitations. There are always conditions. So you have those going on, and then the government is fighting, struggling with whatever funds they have. Come on now. How do you go and rebuild the houses of millions of people in the Northeast? How do you start?
Do you want to start?
Where do you start? From what monies? What are you talking about?
There's a lot to be done.
Yes, and credit should be given, because if they had not done what they've done so far, it's a struggle to even feed. Do you understand what it's like to? Some camps, so IDP camps are not 10 people, 20 people. There are some with 50,000 people,
100,000,
3, 4, 500,000 people. How do you feed them 3 times a day?
And then you're also looking at their health status.
You have to provide medical assistance. You're looking at, okay, these kids are here. How do we provide education? How do we provide security? How do we?
Okay, you know what? It's still signals, because if we keep talking about it, we won't finish it. But this is Signals on 91.3 Lagos Talks with Princess Modupe Ozolua. And this is it for me. Do you personally feel empowered as a Nigerian woman?
Yes. But let me ask you, empowered in what sense?
Okay, let me go back a bit and say that most times they say, okay, the women are not empowered enough to do what they want to do. You stand on all privileges to say, okay, you are able to do some things other people cannot even do. Cannot even say, okay, I want to reach out and say, okay, let me help somebody.
I won't agree with that part of not being able to reach out. You don't have to. Reaching out doesn't necessarily mean you're giving out 1 million naira or 1,000 naira. I always tell people, don't ever assume the person next door to you has food to eat. We have all learned to put masks on to disguise our feelings and what's going on.
Filters.
Major filters. You put that smile on. Even if it's just you have an extra plate of food and you just ask your neighbor, hey, I made this food, let me share with you. You don't know if that's the only meal the person's going to eat that day. You have reached out, you have helped.
So the most important thing is you have helped and reached out.
Yes, it doesn't matter how small. Sometimes the smallest things make the biggest impact. You don't have to be on radio or TV or something or say you must be like me. I've paid my dues to get here. But bottom line is being able to help, and it's from your heart. You're sincere about it. That is the most important thing, because helping isn't easy.
Yeah, but people always, sorry to cut you, but people always say that I've not eaten. You say I should go and help somebody.
I didn't say don't eat.
But sometimes people get that. I want to reach out to people. I know that one of my major life goals is to say, okay, I want to help people. Then people look at you. What do you have? We still have that.
But do you realize you're helping people right now through this interview?
Yeah, true.
Okay then. You have to expand your scope of what help is and don't limit it. How about you see someone's driver or even someone by the roadside, even if it's that extra 5 naira you've given, do you know what you've done?
Something.
That is something.
It's still all
But
about giving.
It's all about and being happy about doing it. Don't feel because yes, it's true. If you give someone 5 naira, you've taken 5 naira from yourself. But trust me, God will reward you for it. And it doesn't matter about people saying thank you. No, let it be that you're happy. You have that
Joy.
yeah, that feel good feeling that yes, this is awesome. Because you want help. You want someone to help you when you need help, but
True.
then you don't want to help somebody else. Even though you're not able to do it in a huge capacity, but that little bit makes a big difference.
Okay. Now let me go back to when you were 21 and when you started your business, and now, for somebody that's going to start a business, for somebody that's going to start an NGO, what should they have at the back of their mind? Because starting 21 is something.
21, I had my business in Los Angeles.
Business.
Yes, business.
And how has it been?
Well, like I said, I had my first business. I owned my first business in Los Angeles. It was a live answering service, mailboxes, cell phone, and whatnot. But you can't compare doing business in America to doing business in Nigeria. No. So
Nah.
I agree. I agree. In Nigeria, I would say be passionate about whatever it is that you want to do. It has to be something that you'll enjoy even if you're not making money from it at that point in time. Do you understand? Some businesses are extremely successful off the bat and be able to sustain it. Some are not. But don't be afraid to reinvent yourself if you need to. If you don't like something and it's not working out the way you want to, leave it. I owned a spa. I did not want to have a spa. I really did not. Oh, please. I opened this beautiful luxury spa in Lekki. Had therapists from Thailand. I was like, oh, fantastic, good. At least these ones will be doing their own thing. I'm doing my own thing. It didn't work out that way. Because clients were not demanding. If they didn't see me, there was a problem. And I'm like, wait a minute, but I have staff. That's their job. That's what they're being paid to do. Why must you see me?
They bought into you.
It became such a headache that it became a liability. And I had to make a decision that, look, no, this wasn't what I bargained for. This wasn't what I wanted. And I shut it down. And people in the press are like, oh, Modupe is broke. I'm like, broke? Because, excuse me, the last time I checked, I didn't need your permission to put my own money to start a business. So I certainly don't need your permission to shut it down when I want to. I shut it down. I went on vacation. I was fabulous. Oh, yes. I was so happy with myself. And I never regretted it. There are times you have to make tough decisions to hell with what people will think or people would say. Do you understand? Be true to yourself, not others. It's extremely important. So even in that with business or philanthropy-wise, when I started that 15 plus years ago, the only 2 major organizations in Nigeria operating there was my organization and then an organization doing heart surgeries. And I can tell you something. That philanthropy is not a walk in the park. People think, oh, they go and you're making money. Or maybe people are in there making money, good for them, but me, I know I'm sincere. I know for a fact I'm not relying on funds from Empower 54. I put my own funds into Empower 54. I was taking money from body enhancement. Clients are coming to pay for cosmetic surgery, and I was taking that money and helping the poor. So when you look at the people you think you would just, you go to someone and say, we're doing this program, it's laudable, it's fantastic, you think they're going to support it financially, and they don't, and then you're like, but why? But expect that.
Like you rightly said, money has limitations.
Oh, but absolutely. And it might just not be the the donor's interest. There's some donors that are like, sorry, we will never put any money in Nigeria, but we'll put in other parts of the world. Are you doing anything anywhere else?
No.
Yes.
There needs to be met.
Yes, there are needs everywhere. It's beyond Nigeria. We don't, as an organization, we don't operate in only Nigeria. We operate in Central Africa, Democratic Republic of Congo. We even do activities in Atlanta. We're not, I'm all over the place because we got things to do, So there are people that you will go to and they will say no. And you'll be surprised, you'll be hurt, you'll be sad. But you know what? Oh, well, it's not that easy. Yes, but make sure it's a passion for you. For me, it's a calling. Ever since I started doing this in 2003, even then in the press, I started saying, God deceived me to come to Nigeria.
Nice deceiving.
Oh, very deceiving, because I thought I was just coming to invest money and start plastic surgery. But I know that the reason why I was brought here was because of my philanthropy work. Because as soon as I started, there was no going back. So if it's not a passion for you, and hey, good for you if you have people that are going to be giving you loads of money, no problem, good for you. Get it and help people. It's that simple. So just don't think it's going to be just, yeah. Just be ready to put the time in and just love what you do and you'll be okay.
Okay. How do you feel when somebody, because I know that you also help people, the clefts, medical conditions, and they come out of those surgeries, the children that you help come out of those surgeries, and they give those children, they give a baby to you to carry after the surgery. What's that feeling like? Describe it for me.
Oh, I always cry. I always cry when I see people suffering, or it's charity, then I'm like, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, seriously. Oh.
Describe it.
It's
And don't shed a tear.
I won't. I have mascara on. When when you're going into surgery, it's a risk. Even though we do everything, we do the pre-ops, make sure the person is fine. But even with body enhancement, I always just look in the operating room. So when you're there, charity, these are people that you don't even know for long, but you still do their background, medicals and tests and things like that. But the minute we're in that operating room, and I'm there in the operating room, I watch procedures, even with the charity bit. I'm always there jumping from one OR to the other to see what's going on. I don't have peace. I don't. My heart is, I'm so tense. I'm under a lot of pressure. I'm worried about the patient. I'm worried about the procedure. I'm worried about anything that could possibly go wrong. When the patient wakes up, those children wake up, or the women that we do VVF repairs for, we remove fibroids for them and things like that. And they wake up and they look at me and we smile. Then I have the relief. I'm like, oh, God, thank you. Yes, God, thank you. God, thank you. And then they recover, and then they come back, to say thank you. And I mean, come on now. It's priceless. It's
You're describing it, I'm having goosebumps.
No, it's about a week or something ago. A woman that we removed a 10 kg ovarian cyst from her ovaries called, and I hadn't spoken to her in so many years, and she called to say thank you, and things like that. It makes it worthwhile. It's a motivating factor for me that, hey, it's okay. We just have to do this, even though it might be tough, it might be this, it might be that, but I'm being true to God, I'm being true to myself, and those who are helping. Sometimes I need to be reminded, because at times I get so upset about certain things, because it's not so easy. But then when I see pictures, or like for example the severely malnourished children we evacuated from Bama, when I see those, and I'm like, you know what? You are worth the risk. You are worth risking our lives to go into that Boko Haram territory to rescue. You are worth it. You are worth everything that came with it. It's okay. Others might not get it, but
one life.
It's so good.
Okay, it signals on 91.3 Lagos Talks, and we're talking philanthropy, the heart of a woman. If you have any questions, it's 009-191-3913 or 009-222-0913 or 009-234-5913. Tweet at us at Lagos Talks 913, CC at Young Cerebral. Okay, so let me check. Okay, so what? We'll wait for your calls. Okay, so then calm down. Let's check. Okay, so it's still 009-191-3913 or 009-222-0913 or 009-234-5913. I'm available to pick your calls. I'm available. So while you enjoy the holidays, this is it. So far in part 54, Princess Modupe. So what? Sometimes when do you draw the line for you?
I don't.
You don't. How do you sleep at night?
I barely sleep. I was telling Esther this morning, I look tired. She's like, yeah. I'm like, the times maximum I sleep maybe 2-3 hours a night.
Night owl. Let me pick this call. Hello, good morning. No, don't let's do this morning. Let's be normal. Don't stress me. 0091913 or 009220913 or 009234591 or Twitter does at Lagos Stocks 913 CC at Young Cerebral. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You
know where you're calling us from?
I'm Emeka.
Okay, so please just go away from where the noise is and let's hear you clearly. It's 0091913 or 009220913 or 009234591. Hello, good morning. You should just send me a WhatsApp message. I beg. So now all of this has been done so far. When you meet children and what kind of questions do these children ask you?
They usually don't ask. They're too scared.
Oh.
They're
Wow.
too scared. So we relate more with the adults. I remember there's this one of the IDP camps in Adamawa State that we set up a school there for 501 children.
Hold on a minute, please. Hello, good morning.
We visited the camp and there was no school. Immediately I gave them money to buy uniforms, books, everything, and the teachers that were amongst the IDPs, I employed them to start teaching the kids. We ran that program, sustained that program for about 8 months before they shut down that camp. I remember one of the mothers telling me that her son, when he sees a soldier, a Nigerian soldier now, he's afraid. Because he said, because of the uniform, but he said because when Boko Haram came and ambushed their community, they were wearing military uniform. But he says, Mommy, the only difference is that when those people came, they were wearing slippers. These ones are wearing boots. So does this mean
dignity of
they
the
are the
Nigerian
good
soldiers.
ones? So you can imagine the trauma of a young child associating the military uniform with terrorism, but they were not terrorists. So gradually he's getting to realize that those people that came in the military uniform were the bad people, pretending to be the good people. Do you understand? And the only way you could tell the difference was they wore slippers, while the military wear boots. So you can imagine the different types of trauma these kids have gone through. Not just them, the adults. That's why when you mentioned about normancy, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe at some point, maybe down the line, maybe, but
For now, this is what we have to work with.
yes.
Okay, now, philanthropy here in Nigeria, philanthropy West Africa, philanthropy across the world. Is it still the same philanthropy or is there anything different?
Very different. Very different. In Nigeria, I think more of everybody seems to suspect everybody's a fraud. Just because you might be a fraud doesn't mean I'm a fraud. People have a lot of responsibilities, financial responsibilities, so they don't tend to be very giving. Yeah, remember, like you said, yeah, I'm hungry, how do I feed someone else? And here with that norm of who you know that will open doors, which cuts across beyond philanthropy, it's even with employment and things like that. That's certainly not the same in America or Europe or whatever, because Empower 54 is also a U.S. nonprofit, so we have a 501c3, so a tax exempt status, and all the countries we're working, we're duly registered as a nonprofit. I know the response we get when potential partners and current partners, go to our website and see what we do. They're like, oh my God, stop it. It's unbelievable. They are blown away because we have done things that even the biggest organizations that are most funded have not done. So they now ask, how can we help? Nobody's interested in whom I know and who I don't know. So you're being judged by your efforts, which is how it should be.
And your results.
Yes. You should be employed based on your credentials, the years you spent in school, not who can help you go meet an MD or somebody to get you employed. So even with philanthropy, it's the same thing. everywhere else is based on your credibility, is what you've done. And then people are like, okay, you know what? We want to be part of this. How can we help? How can we support? Here, maybe not, right? Other parts of Africa, other African countries that we've been in, extremely receptive, very positive. I mean, before you even give them anything, it's you're being appreciated. I remember the first time I went into a certain community in Congo. If you see the way they received me, I had never been received or appreciated that way my whole life, not even in my own country. From the Pygmies, you know the Pygmy tribe, the ancient Pygmy tribe, all sorts of tribes, there were about 18 different Asian tribes in that state. If you see the concert they had for me, you're laughing, I'm serious. I was like, I'm like, but I haven't even, I just came to see what you guys need. I haven't given you anything, and they are so appreciative already. And I'm in the car with the governor. We're going. The children are running down the streets, falling over themselves. Princess, princess. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm in love. I'm moving. I'm relocating. Seriously.
No, don't relocate. Come back home.
Well, you're home. We all need to appreciate each other. If not, you keep losing good people. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You only stay where you're loved and appreciated,
True.
not where people want to, it's all about negativity and whatnot. So it's the perception across board is very different, very different.
If you were to teach philanthropy, what would the cost be like? If you said, okay, Modupe today was to teach philanthropy, and people register, what's that one thing you tell all of us? And so it starts the cost, because you should take that course on philanthropy.
Be my first, if not the whole
opening line to a class of 50.
Be ready for rejection.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Emmanuel! Get away. Okay, so be ready for rejection. The second line will be,
but you make it if you're passionate.
okay. And the third line will be, we're starting the cost already.
Already?
Yes.
You gotta pay me. I'm not doing this for free.
No, because when we need people to go into philanthropy more. I have a friend, and I'm going to go and look for her. She gives out sanitary towels to young girls. And I see her, and I'm like, Bimbo, you're trying.
Yes.
Just from the little, she does not have that big money, but from that little that she's doing, it's okay. And she tells me about the rejection. So I understand the rejection. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning. Nah, bye-bye. So it signals on 91.3 Lagos Talks, and my name is Adeomi Oshodi. I've had 45 to 60 minutes of great pleasure speaking and gisting. Yeah, I call it gisting with Princess Modupe Ozolua of Empire 54, and she has had a lot of rejections in her homeland. But as we know, and as they say, a prophet is rarely recognized. But anyway, she's recognized. Hello.
Hello.
Shalom.
Good morning.
Good morning, love. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, so move away from where the noise is.
Yes, I moved away from there.
Okay, so Shalom is a 16-year-old. Okay, so shoot your question.
Yes, I don't really have questions for her. I just want to comment that it's not easy, like going into the philanthropic business, looking at the people who have suffered a kind of trauma through wars, through fighting. I give her kudos. She should keep up with it. You know what she says? Follow your passion. Once you are following your passion, no matter the trial, no matter what happens along the way, you will still keep going forward. That is the basis of it all. If what you do is what you love, you will triumph in it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
on that note, we say a very big thank you for coming.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Esther. Yeah, I can be like that. Thank you, Spencer. And till we come your way again next week, Saturday. And like we always say, dream again. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That was
All right,
fun.
it's Poetry with Maureen. It's about
I
to
enjoyed it.
kickstart.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Oh,
Maureen,
no,
thank
thank you for
you.
having me. This is
Yes.
Maureen. Hi. Princess.
Thank you for coming. You look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. So do
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Emmanuel, oh yeah. Oh, I appreciate. Oh
I
yeah.
love this. So nice.
Oh, thank you.
So nice. So
Come
nice.
on, stamp it.
And after you,
Okay, hi, Mama.
Is it fine?
yeah. Is it okay? So can I join now?
You'll be fine. Oh yeah.
I'll be able to like.
Esther, you're not joining?
No.
Come here.
No,
I think I'll do
sorry.
this for the picture.
Please smile.
It's fine, Abby. Thank you so much.
I want to take a picture with
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Okay, so let me
So
just.
proud of you.
Oh, my pleasure. Bring mine.
So that's what you get for abandoning me.